Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person and in the City Council chamber and remotely. Am I to understand that the person described as Juana Soto is really Councilor Rodriguez? Because I don't see Councilor Rodriguez in here. The Zoom link is here at meeting. There's meeting and password codes. The meeting may also be viewed through the digital platforms such as the Lawrence City Council Facebook page, the Lawrence City Council YouTube page. The elevator is out of service and access is provided via remote participation as we just detailed. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilor Levy,
Present.
Councilor De La Cruz, Councilor Payano, absent. Councilor Vice President Estela Reyes, absent. Councilor Rodriguez, absent. Councilor Del Rosario, absent. Councilor Selena Reyes, Councilor Infante, President LaPlante.
President, will you please call the roll for Councilor Rodriguez?
Councilor Rodriguez.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a quorum. Councilors, before we have a moment of silence, I wanted to give you a little bit of an update. As you recall, 2 weeks ago, on our last City Council meeting, we adopted a corner, a square, for Louise Mulligan. As I mentioned to you that night, I would call her the next day to give her the good news, and I did. We spoke for about 20 minutes. She was overwhelmed with the information, knowing that she received and that her city was able to honor her with the corner, or with the square. What I didn't tell you that night was that she was in hospice, and I didn't think it was necessarily right to say that. But I get a phone call yesterday from Captain Mulligan. I'm letting you know that Louise Mulligan passed away yesterday afternoon. And so for a moment of silence this evening, I hope we can keep not only her family and her close relatives in our prayers. Councilors, we have the minutes for July 5th, 2022 before us. Is there a motion to accept the minutes? Motion made by Councilor Infante, seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Councilor Infante? Yes. Councilor Selena Reyes? Yes. Councilor Del Rosario? Absent. Councilor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Councilor Vice President Estela Reyes? Absent. Councilor Payano? Absent. Councilor De La Cruz? Councilor Levy?
Present.
Council President LaPlante?
Present. Now we have public participation. The rules are the same every 2 weeks. You have 2.5 minutes to address the City Council. Please direct the chair. At the 2-minute mark, the bell will go off, letting you know that you have 30 seconds left to wrap up your comments. And don't, again, address the chair or not any individual councilors. The first person is Mr. Mali.
Humayun Mali, 53 Chester Street. Good evening, honorable members. In this important election year, our city facing an important emergency. Our poor Lawrence Public School cafeteria worker on strike, suffering. We demand Lawrence Public School grant them the best contract. Our city, we demand from Honorable Mayor Brian DePena and this council contract for Lawrence Police now. Lawrence Police, with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Chief Roy Vass, has done an excellent job to protect our citizens. Contract for Lawrence Police now. Lawrence Police, this great union of pride and honor, we are grateful to the member of the Ordinance Committee for approving Declaration of September 13, the day of the appreciation for the first responder and the police and firefighters. We demand the best contract for Lawrence Police now. Million thanks to our DPW workers. Lawrence is a beautiful city because of the hard work, sweat and blood of our DPW workers. Lawrence Public School, with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Superintendent Cynthia Paris, one of the best superintendents in the history of Lawrence, moving forward. We are grateful for granting contract for our teachers. We demand fair compensation and the best contract for Lawrence Public School cafeteria workers. We support our teachers and their union. Remember your campaign promise, Save Lawrence, Prosper Lawrence, only possible if we have the best contract for our police officer and police department. Lawrence, one city under God, Lawrence Public School cafeteria worker, we feel your pain, we feel your suffering. We won't stop until you have the best contract. Remember, in this election year, we promise that Lawrence Police has the best contract. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Euphemia De La Cruz.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eufemia de la Cruz, 2 Museum Square in Lawrence. I just want to translate what he said. Felicidades a todos que están haciendo un trabajo extraordinario aquí en la ciudad de Lawrence. Felicidades al departamento escolar, la señora Paris por haber aceptado el contrato de la Unión y todos los progresos que estamos teniendo aquí en la ciudad de Lawrence. I want to say thank you so much to all of you for the great job that you've been doing all through this year and right now what you accomplished for the new and up forward to a new Lawrence. Thank you so much, and I look forward to see my event coming up, the Evangelistic Revival. I look forward to see the whole city participate in this. It's not one single congregation, it's a unity spirit, friendship. All right, so it's going to be a variation of all type of event. All right, thank you so much, and thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you very much. The next speaker is Dick Russell.
Good evening, councilors. My name is Dick Russell. I reside 34 Cross Street. As a veteran, it was sad to read that Mrs. Louise Mulligan passed away the other day. She was the epitome of what a military wife should be. An individual who fought the fight on American soil for what was hers, her husband, and his right to return to American soil. May she rest in peace. On to other things. It's good to see that the City Council has done away with the one council meeting a month for the months of July and August, as it has been done for the past several years. It was also nice to see several of you at the public display of the new 8 police cruisers this morning at the police station. I thank you for showing up. I'm still not overjoyed with the actions of some in this building by budgeting a salary in the FY23 budget and then going back later on after the budget is approved and then changing the salary provisions in those ordinances to fit the budgeted salaries. Why wasn't the salary provisions changed in the ordinance prior to being budgeted in the FY23 budget? My humble opinion, what happened was a case of putting the wagon before the horse. I would also like to remind all of you and all of the city residents of a basketball tournament at O'Neill Park every Friday night, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. I'm not a basketball fan, but it is a good show. These guys are out there enjoying themselves. Chico's Summer Shootout. Go down and take a look at it. They'd appreciate the turnout. As always, I thank you for the time.
Thank you. The next speaker is Jeffrey Petrillo.
Hi, good evening, City Council and City Council President Mark LaPlante. As you may recognize, I was here approximately 4 years ago, and it was about an item about map 97, lot number 18. And I've given you all a pass out of what I'm about to speak about tonight. It's in reference to agenda item 189/18 A&M Auto Body 341 South Broadway zoning amendment. It's still on the City Council amendment agenda, excuse me. Dear City Council President and members of the Lawrence City Council, it is the Petrillos of 341D South Broadway understanding that there is still an agenda item 189/18 on the Lawrence City Council agenda list, and it is labeled as a tabled item since 1/29/19. We believe this is an oversight on the part of the Lawrence City Council, as the lot known as map 97, lot number 18, has a permanent land injunction ordered, adjudged, and declared by the Honorable John T. Liu of Lawrence Superior Court, permanently adjoining A&M Auto Body et al. From making any use of map 97, lot number 18 at 341 South Broadway, Lawrence, Massachusetts, that is impermissible under R2 designation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's also, if it's not permissible by City Ordinances 29-11 and 29-23, parentheses, P2. It was further ordered, adjudged, and declared that the November 7, 2018 Lawrence City Council vote that allowed the petition of A&M Auto Body Incorporated shall be and hereby to be vacated and invalid. If we remember correctly, we won the original City Council meeting. It was then brought to a revote, which we said was illegal. Kitty versus the City of Springfield, 1961, Massachusetts Supreme Court decision that says you cannot do that. Accordingly, the Petrillos are strongly advising the Lawrence City Council et al. To vacate this agenda item, as it can no longer be presented regardless of the 2-year rule, because if done, it would be deemed as a contempt of court of Honorable John T. Liu's March 29, 2021 ruling in order. Thank you. Additionally, in the packet, I've demonstrated that I have gone beyond any means in addressing a letter to Mr. McCarthy and Attorney
Petrillo?
Corrigan.
Your 2.5 minutes are up, but we do have your packet. We do have it that was distributed, so we can refer to that now. But thank you so much for coming this
I
evening.
just wanted to finish by saying there's photographs indicating, per the email, that regardless of the decisions made by the zoning board, he's still doing it,
Thank
until
you.
today.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Our
you.
public
Thank you very much for
participation
your
is now over. The comments, the names, and the folks who have spoken are now going to be part of the official record of the City Council. At this point, we're going to be beginning the public hearings. The first document for public hearings is document number 19022. Clerk, would you please read the public hearing notice?
Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, July 19, 2022 at 7 p.m. at a public meeting of the Lawrence City Council in the City Council Chambers, 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person in the City Council chamber and remotely via Zoom. Please note that the elevator at City Hall will not be in service. To receive access codes for remote participation, contact the City Clerk at 978-620-3233 prior to the meeting. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the following. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding the following. Section 1. The revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence, Massachusetts, published by Municode, consisting of titles 1 through 29, including all documents for which links are given therein, is adopted. Section 2. All ordinances of a general and permanent nature links are given therein is adopted. Section 2. All ordinances of a general and permanent nature enacted on or before April 1st, 2022 and not included in the code or recognized and continued in force by reference therein are repealed. No ordinances rezoning property is repealed hereby. Forced by reference therein are repealed. No ordinance rezoning property is repealed hereby. Section 3, the repeal provided for in Section 2, therefore, shall not be constructed to revive any ordinance or part thereof that has been repealed by a subsequent ordinance that is repealed by this ordinance. Section 4, unless another penalty is expressly provided, every person convicted of a violation or any provision of the code or any ordinance, rule or regulation adopted or issued in pursuance thereof shall be punished by a penalty of not more than 300 for each offense in accordance with General Laws 4021D, or the maximum amount allowed by law. Each act of violation and each day upon which any such violation shall continue or occur shall constitute a separate offense. The penalty provided by this section, unless another penalty is expressly provided, shall apply to the amendment of any code section, whether or not such penalty is enacted in the amendatory ordinance. In addition to the penalty prescribed above, the city may pursue other remedies such as abatement of nuisances, injunctive relief, and revocation of licenses or permits. Section 5. Additions or amendments to the code when passed in such form as to indicate the intention to make the same a part of the code shall be deemed to be incorporated in the code, so that reference to the code includes the additions and amendments. Section 6. Ordinances adopted after April 1st, 2022 that amend or refer to ordinances that have been codified in the code shall be construed as if they amend or refer to like provisions of the code. Section 7. This ordinance shall become effective upon approval by the City Council and the Mayor. Section 8. Any ordinance which was passed before April 1st, 2022 and was inadvertently missed shall be included in this codification. An official copy of the code is available for inspection in the City Clerk's office, 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass. An unofficial copy is also available online at library.municode.com. To the extent that there exist any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter?
Good evening. My name's Dick Russell, 34 Cross Street. Regarding agenda item 19022, I understand that the city is willing to accept everything as gospel that is posted in the Muni Code website for ordinances. Has any city official gone through the posted copy of our ordinances on Muni Code and properly vetted each and every one of them? As for the $300 fines that you're trying to create, how can you create fines for ordinances that aren't even enforced? 3 examples. Sections 12.16.01 to 12.16.140. The ordinances regarding overhead signs and awnings that overhang city sidewalks. It's totally ignored. 2, last Friday night, I went to O'Neill Park to take pictures of the Friday night basketball games. I had to leave due to the smell of marijuana. I think that's a violation of section 9.04.011, marijuana in public places. I leave because I don't need issues with PTSD regarding the smell of marijuana. Again, no fines, unenforced. 3, how can section 9.04.040, the noise ordinance, be enforced when there is no decibel level described in the ordinance? I would suggest that before accepting the Muni Code as the gospel, make changes in the ordinances that are able to be enforced legally and properly. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak on this matter? Seeing that the public hearing is now closed. Councilors? Councilor Dela Cruz? Is there a motion?
that it says this ordinance should become effective upon approval by the city council and the mayor.
Council, we'll need a motion to start the debate. I'll be happy to, really happy to discuss, but I just need a motion to begin the debate. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilor Selena Reyes, seconded by Councilor Anna Levy. Discussion, Councilor Dela Cruz.
Yes, as the body of the government, the city councilors are the one that have to make effective or request the ordinance for anything. Why do, it says right here, this ordinance should become effective upon approval by the city council and the mayor. Can you explain it to me, please?
So sure, so if you actually looked at the public hearing section right below that, it came from the city attorney. Ultimately, what this is looking to do, this is the book that we have. We finally have gotten this book done after 20 years. We have, the old books have been around for a while. This is a two-stage process. The first stage process is we are putting, the stuff that we've already passed are going through, I think it was April 1st of 2022. So we're required, I think every 10 years to go ahead and to codify our laws. So this is a requirement that we do. We haven't been doing it. So we're doing it this year with this brand new book. Somebody else mentioned earlier about doing some other stuff. I think we want to go in that direction. What we want to do is make sure that we have the brand new charter review completed. There's other stuff that needs to be done. We don't want to do all the other stuff and then do charter review afterwards, because that's going to cost a lot of money, which was discussed earlier, and I think it's money well spent. So I hope that helps answer the question. This is essentially saying what we have in this book is the laws that we pass to the best of our abilities.
Yeah, but as a body of government, we are the one, as city councilor, that have to make the decision, the final decisions.
I don't think you're going to get much of a debate on that. Every law, of course, comes before the mayor. Every city ordinance comes before us and is vetoed or approved by the mayor. But this, again, I don't want to make this too complex. This is essentially adopting the ordinances that are in this brand new book. So I don't want to, it's something that we haven't done in a while, and I think, you know, once we get this done, it's good for us to get this completed.
It confuses me then.
I understand, Counselor. I understand. You make a good point. Thank you. Any other comments? Counselor Rodriguez, is your hand up?
Get a little bit of a clarification on section 4. If somebody can go over a little bit deep into that.
Are you talking about section 4 where the city attorney sent down to us after her review of the language, section 4, the $300 fines, which is codified by state law that we can't go past?
So essentially, this is just clarifying that we only can go up to $300, no more, unless we have a home rule petition or something like that.
Yeah, currently, as council, as we know, there is a limit as to how much a city can go ahead and put as a fine on any of its ordinances. If it goes beyond that, there needs to be, as you mentioned, Councilor Rodriguez, there needs to be a home rule petition to allow us to go beyond that. But there is a limit and a cap on the amount that we can go ahead and fine. We just can't fine 500 or 1,000 without getting permission from the State House.
So this doesn't mean that every ordinance that we have in the book now is going to be a $300 fine, right?
I think what's in the book, as long as it doesn't go over $300, if we have a limit, let's say of $100, I haven't gone through every ordinance inside this book to be truth be known, but if there is a limit that this city council has, let's say they want to limit it at $100, that's a limit that we can do. We just can't go over $300, but whatever, we can create a limit below that if we choose to over the course of time.
And we have gone through the same situation a couple of times during my time in the council. But I just want to make sure, because I have this question when somebody reading it, and I was a little bit confused as well, that this is not an adoption of that every ordinance in the city of Lawrence now is going to be $300 fine. So every ordinance have different repercussions, but this is not going to increase automatically up to $300 for every ordinance that we have in the book. So I just want to clarify that this is not the case, and we brought that up into the discussion.
Thank you, Counselor. That is my understanding of this. I do, my full understanding, to repeat, is that we can't go past 300. If we do something less, it should be in this book. If you have an example, if someone has an example of something, we can do a truth check on that. But my understanding, and we can always come back and revisit that, but my sense is that the 300 is just codifying or understanding what the limit is for us. We can't go past that. Are there any other comments by councilors?
That was not my clarification. That was not what I'm trying to accomplish on the discussion. I know that we cannot go over. I just want to make sure that adopting this ordinance is not increasing every ordinance that we have in the book to $300. That's all I'm asking. It's a matter of yes, we increasing it to 300, or no, we're not increasing it to 300. Stay like it is. Just want to clarify that. We brought that up into the discussion, and that's not the case because a couple of people read the ordinance, called me up and asked me, and I say I'm going to bring this up to the discussion to ensure that any or every ordinance that we have in the book stay like it is and is not being increased up to 300 tonight. That's all I'm asking.
Thank you, councilors. Any other comments? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Is that the case?
Councilor Levy?
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz?
Present.
Councilor Payano? Absent. Councilor Rodriguez?
Abstain.
Councilor Del Rosario? Absent. Councilor Selena Reyes? Yes. Councilor Infante?
Yes.
President LaPlante?
What's the number we have right now? 3? I'm going to vote no for parliamentary issues. I'm voting no. It wasn't going to pass anyway. The motion fails. Thank you. We'll take this up later for a motion to reconsider at a different time. Thank you. The next item, before we get on to the next item, is there a motion to dispense with the reading of the preamble of the next public hearing? Motion made by Councilor Infante. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Reyes. Discussion? Roll call, clerk.
Councilor Infante? Yes. Councilor Selena Reyes? Councilor De Rosario is absent. Councilor Rodriguez?
The motion was for what?
Motion is to dispense with reading the preamble. Continue.
Councilor Vice President Estela Reyes is absent. Councilor Payano? Absent. Councilor De La Cruz?
Yes.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
President LaPlante?
Yes. Motion. Notice.
Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, July 19, 2022. Purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the following proposed ordinances. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by deleting the following sections of 20.03 of the Municipal Code: Stormwater Management and Erosion Control, 20.03010 Purposes, 20.03.020 Applicability, 20.03030 Definitions, 20.03050 Assumptions, 20.03060 Coordination with other permits, 20.03070 Administration, 20.03080 Permit Procedures, 20.03090 Performance Standards, 20.030 20.100, performance standards. 20.030.110, waivers. 20.030.120, enforcement fines. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding the following sections of 20.03 of the Municipal Code: stormwater management and erosion control. 20.03010, purposes. 20.03020, applicability. 20.03030, definitions. 20.03050, exceptions. 20.03060, coordination with other permits. 20.03070, administration. 20.03080, permit procedures. 20.03090, performance standards. 20.03100, performance standards. 20.03110, waivers. 20.03120, enforcement fines. Copies of the current ordinances, red lines version showing all changes, and a clean version of the new ordinance are available in the city clerk's office and the office of the Water and Sewer Department. To the extent that there exist any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? Public hearing is now closed. Councilors, is there a motion? Motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Motion made by Councilor Selena Reyes, seconded by Councilor Anna Levy. Discussion, and at this point, I would ask the folks to give the presentation, please.
Good evening. My name is William Hale. I'm currently serving as the Acting Water and Sewer Commissioner for the City of Lawrence, and I have with me tonight Zach Henderson. He's a consulting engineer for Woodard and Curran. Tonight, we're going to be going over the ordinance changes for 20-20.03, and basically what it's going to do is it requires a city to establish.
Mr. Hale, if you wouldn't mind two things. Can you move closer to the mic, or move the mic closer to you? And are you going to start the presentation now? Should we darken the room? Okay, let's do that.
Oh, Zach's going to start it. I just wanted to give you an
Okay.
overview of
Go ahead.
So that we just want to establish consistent land development policies. So we have those policies in the presentation, so we can start that now. Zach? Come on. Right, this space.
Great. Good evening, City Council. Thank you for the opportunity to be here and talk a little bit about the changes and modifications to the city's stormwater management ordinance and provide a little background and update on the so-called MS4 general permit. This is an EPA-issued federal permit that authorizes discharges of stormwater in the city of Lawrence into the water resources of the state. So just a little bit of overview of what we're going to talk about tonight. Just a quick reminder on EPA's requirements for the city. And this is an obligation that EPA is making on the city for them to make these changes to the ordinance. I'm going to provide a brief overview of what has changed in the existing ordinance, and then a summary of what's included in the draft regulations that now have been drafted as a part of the ordinance as well. So this is an important and quite simplified schematic of a municipal drainage system. What we know from working in cities really across the country is that most folks don't have any idea how this works and operates. It's an important piece of utility infrastructure. Most people don't know about it. When it rains, water flows into those little storm drains that are shown on the street there, flow through that storm sewer and discharge into the nearest water body. Oftentimes that water is untreated, and oftentimes these pipes don't have sufficient capacity to carry the water, and therefore you can have flooding-related concerns. So the goal of this ordinance is to manage stormwater from individual developments, not single-family or multifamily, but from larger commercial developments in the city to ensure that you maintain good capacity in your storm sewers and you improve water quality. It's really the goal. So the unintended consequences of urban drainage, we have these efficient systems that help to make sure that we don't flood our streets. The downside of that is anything on their streets, on pavement, on rooftops, can end up becoming polluted with what's on those streets. And that's what's shown here. And then water eventually discharges at large pipes like shown in the lower right, ending up in our waterways. So any of that pollution that washes off the landscape can end up in our waterways. And that pollution is quite dilute compared to industrial pollution or other municipal wastewater, but there's a lot of it. When it rains, there's huge volumes that discharge into the river. And this is really the last remaining large water pollution challenge we have in the United States, to try to figure out how to fix this and manage it. Very difficult, as you can imagine. So here's a quick schematic about what this MS4 stands for, and this is codified in the Clean Water Act. The Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System, so that's where the 4 S's come from. And you look at the graphic in the lower right, there's 2 primary wastewater pipes in the ground, if you will. One is made up of rainwater, that stormwater drainage pipe, that's our MS4. One is a sewer pipe. In the city of Lawrence, you also have combined pipes that include stormwater and wastewater, and those can, during big rain events, overflow into your rivers, and those are being addressed through the Greater Lawrence Sanitary Sewer District combined sewer overflow system. But the system we're talking about tonight is largely the stormwater drainage pipe. That is the so-called MS4. A little bit about your MS4 in the city of Lawrence. We spent probably the last 8 or 9 years doing a lot of mapping of the system, trying to get a better understanding of it to address local flood problems, other issues. About 40 miles of separated stormwater drainage pipe, about 3,000 catch basins, these little inlets on the street side, about 1,000 manholes, and about 120 locations where water that goes into these systems exit into water of the U.S., the Merrimack, the Spigot, the Shawshene, in your communities. Some of this water does go to your neighboring communities. Some water also comes from the neighboring communities as well. So under the so-called MS4 general permit, which EPA issues and communities have to comply with, it's part of the Clean Water Act, there are 6 primary actions that the city of Lawrence is currently undertaking. There's a public education component. There's a public involvement component, which this constitutes tonight. There's this illicit discharge detection elimination. That's essentially fixing and addressing leaky sewer systems that might be getting into the drainage system. There's a construction site runoff control policy. That's what we're talking about tonight. And the so-called post-construction stormwater management requirements, which is also part of what we're talking about tonight. So when land development happens, how do you manage that to ensure that there's not pollution or additional drainage problems from that land development? And then there's a pollution prevention component, and that's the work that Billy and his team do, sweeping streets, cleaning catch basins, ensuring that the trash or other debris that's out there gets picked up before it ends up in our waterways. And you're not alone. There's about 7,500 of these permitted dischargers in the United States of America. And so all 7,000 of these, or 7,000 plus, have to do very similar types of requirements across the country. And this is really based on development density. So you can see it really follows the cities of America. The most urban areas are the areas that have to do stormwater-related management to improve water quality. And so this is a little bit about the existing ordinance, and I apologize for the size here. But essentially, the ordinance has been established to protect natural resources and properties from polluted runoff and unmanaged stormwater runoff from development, construction, land surface alterations. So that's really the original goal, as established in 2014, was to protect water quality and reduce flood impact to neighbors. The stormwater management permit required under this ordinance, there are several applicability thresholds. So disturbance greater than 1 acre, disturbance greater than 5,000 square feet in areas of higher pollutant loading sites, and there's definitions for that. It's facilities that produce more than your typical pollution. And then disturbance greater than 5,000 square feet for discharges to the combined sewer. So there's the combined sewer reference there. So that's the applicability section. Nothing is changing in the modifications currently from the original section. So this permit will apply to the same types of developments in the city that it did in 2014. Some of the provisions are going to change, and what I highlighted here is there are performance standards. So when an applicant pursues this permit, they have to do certain things to ensure control of erosion problems on their site, and then to ensure long-term stormwater management. And that's what's changed in the permit. The other interesting item, I believe, in the ordinance is there was established in 2014 a fee in lieu alternative when in situations where stormwater management simply isn't practicable. You have a number of buildings and development patterns in this city where there's nowhere to put or manage stormwater. So there's a fee in lieu written into the ordinance that now has been codified in the regulations that really establishes an opportunity for a developer applicant to pay a fee that would be offset by stormwater management in another location in the city. So that's an exciting development here. So why revisions are necessary, really? EPA has said you need to do it. They're requiring this of all 270 regulated MS4 dischargers in the Commonwealth. And what they've done is they've changed the so-called performance standards. So they've increased the requirement for a land development project to have to treat stormwater. And that's differing right now and in conflict with the state's standards. The state is underway changing their so-called handbook, but right now you all need a special reference in your code to ensure that we're consistent with the EPA. So it increases level of stormwater quality treatment and requires a little greater volume of stormwater capture on a site. There's also some language around, kind of technical language about what kind of submissions an applicant has to have in the ordinance changes. So those are the basics of why we're doing this. And then here are a few of the key changes. And again, relatively minor definition updates, references to not only the Massachusetts Stormwater Handbook standards for performance, but also to the MS4 general permit. So that "and" really helps us meet what EPA wants us to do. And then the supporting documents that were developed, the regulations, which had always been in the code, but had not been drafted, and provide a lot of supporting detail on the application process. So I'll wrap up here in a second. There's a little bit of detail here, but mostly what the regulations do is it establishes good application procedures, so it's very clear for all applicants what they have to do. It details standards and submission requirements. It outlines inspectional requirements. It details the certificate of completion requirements and clarifies enforcement procedures. So these regulations hopefully will make it more clear to applicants and land developers what they're supposed to do, and it'll make it easier for the engineering office, for the water and sewer superintendent, and for others to maintain consistency for your applicants. And then so just in summary, how this will help control runoff and help with flooding problem areas. It won't solve all of those, but the goal of this is to control stormwater discharges. Obviously protect water quality for the Merrimack, Spicket, and Shawshene, which have made huge improvements over the last 50 years, and will help to reduce combined sewer overflows if those facilities within those combined areas control their runoff. That helps everybody related to combined sewer overflows. So that's, I think, what we have for Teneo. A little bit about what the city's doing about stormwater, so just to help you understand what the Water and Sewer Department and Public Works are doing. I mentioned street sweeping and catch basin cleaning, spending a fair amount of time on drainage system assessments and analysis, finding and fixing problems, public education campaigns through city Facebook and the Consumer Confidence Report, aggressive improvement to leaky sewer lines and backups, and then investing in stormwater management and green infrastructure on city property. So the city has really upped its game over the last 10 years or so under this permitting program to really be better around stormwater, and many communities in Massachusetts as well. So I think that's what we have for any questions or discussion.
Thank you very much, councilors.
Thank you, Council President. When you're saying the customer will pay a fee, can you explain a little bit more about that? I thought this was a city issue with a lot of places where they're getting flooded, especially when it rains. But what does the fee the client have to pay for?
To obtain a permit, there's an application fee, one that's been established in the regulations. And then what I mentioned was a fee in lieu alternative to doing engineering controls on your facility. Let's say you have no room to build a system to treat stormwater. There's just simply no way you can do it. The applicant developer would pay a fee instead that would go into an escrow account and be held for the city of Lawrence to spend those dollars on appropriate stormwater management in another location. It's really a very attractive idea for your applicants who simply are constrained with their site and can't build or engineer a solution. So this fee in lieu has always been in your ordinance since 2014. It just hasn't been outlined what that fee would be. But believe me, the development community will like the fee option because it's a lot easier in some cases than engineering some kind of solution. And then the city can use that money and needs to use that money dedicated for stormwater management purposes.
My next question, isn't it EPA getting a lot of money that is going to be distributed among community, that money could be used for this kind of problem that we have?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
It's a lot of money.
We're still waiting to see the kind of money, but we're anticipating, more infrastructure money under the, current legislation at the federal level. So, yeah, there should be, and we're taking on a number of projects with the city to examine the problem areas that you all have identified. There's flooding problems and changes in precipitation, and these types of policies will help with that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council.
So this project already started? Are we started with this to solve this problem that we have in the city of Lawrence?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
The flood.
Yes.
We already started with this project in the city, or this is something that you are proposing right now?
The proposal, go ahead.
They're
Yeah.
just gonna alter some of the ordinance. Right now, yes, sorry. They're gonna alter the ordinance right now, right? The money that she was talking about that, we're gonna get is for the infrastructure in the street, but this is for new developments. This will prevent, a surge of stormwater on that property going into that system, so we don't, it gets overtaxed. So,
this is for new project,
yep, it's
not for existing project?
No.
Not for the problem that we are facing right now with some streets that are getting flooded when we have the rain. So,
correct, it's for new development. but
just
it-
only
it's-
for new development.
But it will take the burden of the system, so if they're gonna contain it on the property, that, most of these places are already, the whole city's developed, so they're gonna redo a building, now they're gonna have to control stormwater on the existing property, so that'll reduce the amount of stormwater surging into the system.
Because okay, go ahead.
I was just going to add that over the last several years, the city has invested in a number of studies to examine large river flood impacts, as also small drainage area problems. So as you all bring problems to water and sewer and to public works, they're looking at those for solutions. And those solutions are not easy. It's old pipes, right? Old pipes built years ago to accommodate certain flow. But that's work separate from, this is policy, but that work is in engineering and is underway to examine your stormwater system to identify opportunities for improvement.
Because I think that we should solve one of the problems and start solving the other one. So
Yes.
by having all the problems that we are having with flood in many places in the city of Lawrence, so that is something that we have to work at this moment, just to clean all of the basin and clean, and make sure that the water flow.
Yeah,
So
we're out there
that
every
is
day.
something that are we also taking care, because we base in here that, we are doing a study, we are calling this company, they're gonna provide us with information how to solve this, but at the end, never things happen.
Yeah, this policy is definitely gonna help. It's multiple things together that are gonna do it. We currently have water and sewer guys out before every storm, cleaning the catch basins. The sweepers are out. We have a company come in and clean all the catch basins in the
Can you
city.
get a little close to the microphone, please? Okay.
We have a company coming in to clean, we clean like half the city, and then we do the other half once they're finished. So everything's being cleaned, it's just we gotta do everything together to make a bigger impact.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Any other members wish to speak?
Motion to approve?
Motion's already been made and has already been seconded. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Infante? Councilor Selena Reyes? Councilor De Rosario is absent. Councilor Rodriguez?
Since I wasn't able to ask a question, I voted no.
Vice President Estela Reyes, absent. Councilor Payano is absent. Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Yes,
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries.
Mr. President, excuse me.
Councilor Levy?
Yes, do you have a copy of the the PowerPoint that you presented to us?
Thank you.
Councilor Rodriguez, it would be helpful to the chair if there is an opportunity to have a flag or something there. I am looking. That would be helpful for me as a cue. If you wouldn't mind exercising that, that would be very useful. Thank you. The next document, Councilor Rodriguez, for what purpose do you rise?
I wanted to know how you record my vote.
Clerk, how did the Councilor Rodriguez vote?
You voted no.
All right,
Yeah,
do you mind increasing your volume on the computer? That way you can hear when other people on this end talk. And you're gonna hear it right there. It's gonna be very, very low. You're gonna hear it alone, and we'll be able to discuss better.
I'm not sure what you're saying, Counselor. But did you casted a no vote on that? I'm not sure, was that the accurate vote, Councilor Rodriguez?
Council President, in the computer in front of you, the one that you have in front of you, just increase the volume a little bit. You have it unmuted right now. Increase the volume a little bit. We're gonna be able to hear people from this end, and we don't have to wait.
I have it as high up as it can go right now. I'm at 10 on the computer. Go any higher than that. I just want to make sure, clerk, record your vote correctly. Did you vote no on that last item?
I said, since I wasn't able to ask a question when I was asking for, I'm voting no. And I want that to be part of the record as well.
Your no is certainly a part of the record, Counselor. Thank you. And I have this as loud as I can, so thank you, Counselor. The next documents, so that passes. Under communications from the mayor, city officials, and city attorney, document 25122, submission of FY21 city audit by the CAFO, Mark Ianello. That is going to be going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Under resolutions, 23522, a resolution parking only Bicknell Terrace from Reservoir Street to Bellevue Street, Councilor Del Rosario and Councilor Payano. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. A resolution in support of the Fair Share Amendment put on by Councilor Selena Reyes, Vice President Estela Reyes, Councilor Payano, and Councilor Rodriguez. That's going to the Ordinance Committee. 23722, resolution in recognition of Angela Montano Pina, put on by Councilor Selena Reyes. That's going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 23822, a resolution adopt a park program put on by Councilor Selena Reyes. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. Now for the Budget and Finance Committee reports. Councilor Rodriguez, you're the Vice Chair of the Budget and Finance Committee. Are you able to provide the committee reports for document number 21122?
Unfortunately, I wasn't there on that meeting, and the remote system might be a little difficult, but I'll read what is in here. Give me 1 second, please.
Budget Committee. Budget.
So I can read what is in here, not a problem.
Councilor Levy, thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Councilor Levy, were you present at the Budget and Finance Committee meeting? To make this a little bit easier, would you be willing to give the committee report? Thank you. Thank you, Councilor Rodriguez, for your willingness to assist. Councilor Levy, document number 21122. Motion is, to send, the motion was made to send this up to a favorable recommendation. Is there a second?
Second the motion,
Motion to
waive
ad-
the 30 days.
Motion to adopt has been made and been seconded, and to waive the 30 days is also part of that, Counselor Levy? Is that part of the amendment? Discussion. Hearing none. Clerk, please read the roll.
Councilor Levy,
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Councilor Payano is absent, Councilor Vice President is absent, Councilor Rodriguez. Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilor De Los Rosario is absent, Councilor Selena Reyes. Councilor Infante. President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. Document number 21222, Counselor Levy.
Item 21222, accepting of the fund from Mass Development Finance Agency, Site RENE Program, Merriman Paper Demolition and Remediation Project in the amount of $750,000 was presented for Danny McCarthy and was sent to the full council with favor recommendation.
Motion's
I
been
made
made.
it as a full motion.
Motion's
Second the
been made by
motion.
Counselor Levy. I heard seconded over here first from Counselor Selena Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Infante. Councilor Selena Reyes. Councilor Del Rosario is absent, Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilor Vice President is absent, Councilor Payano is absent, Councilor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Councilor Levy,
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. Counselor Levy, document number 23122, please.
Item 23122 was the FY 23, the supplemental budget school for adult education center in the amount of $1,300,000 by Mayor Brian De Peña, and also presented by the CAFO, Mr. Yanelo. It was sent to the full committee with favor recommendation.
Second the motion.
Motion's been made by Counselor Levy, seconded by Counselor Maria De La Cruz. Discussion? Counselor, just letting you know, this requires 6 votes to pass. We only have 6 city councilors here. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy,
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Councilor Payano is absent, Councilor Vice President is absent, Councilor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario is absent, Councilor Selena Reyes. Councilor Infante. President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries 6-0. Next is Ordinance and Intergovernmental Relations Committee. The Vice Chair of the Ordinance Committee is Counselor De La Cruz. Counselor De La Cruz, would you please be willing to give the committee reports on document number 21922?
I'm gonna take out of order.
Is there a motion to take a document out of order?
Yes, please.
Which document would that be, Counselor?
Second the motion.
Item 189. No, it's not that one. Item 226.
There's a motion to take document 22622, revival of 22 Christian event at Campione, common out of order. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Counselor De La Cruz. Discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy,
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Councilor Payano is absent, Councilor Vice President is absent, Councilor Rodriguez.
Counselor Rodriguez is not with us. Continue, please.
Councilor Del Rosario is absent, Councilor Selena Reyes. Councilor Infante. President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. Counselor.
Item 22922, resolution naming of the library at the new Francis
Counselor,
Leje School.
Counselor, I'm sorry. I think
sorry,
the
it's
motion was
226.
226, yes?
26, not 229.
Do you want to give the committee a report? Who's giving the committee
Just give me
report?
one second. I'm sorry.
Counselor Dela Cruz, the committee report, please, for document 226.
So 226 is the Revival 2022 Christian Event Campaign on a Common on the 10/29, 10/30, and 10/31. That was by Eufemia de la Cruz and sent it to the committee report, to the full council with favor recommendation.
A motion has been made for adoption of this by Counselor Anna Levy. Is there a second to the motion for adoption? Seconded by Counselor Dela Cruz. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Infante. Councilor Selena Reyes. Councilor De Rosario is absent. Councilor Rodriguez. Absent. Councilor Vice President Reyes is absent. Councilor Payano is absent. Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. Are we going back up to the top
Yes,
of
please.
ordinance?
Yes.
Counselor Levy, will you be giving the reports on these?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Document number 21922.
Item 21922 is the request to approve early voting schedule for 9/6/22 and 11/8/22. State election by Richard Reyes, Election Division Assistant as a security clerk. So, Mr. Richard is over here right now.
There is a motion. Is there a second? Seconded over here by Counselor Infante. Thank you for the help, Counselor Reyes. Discussion? Counselor, City Clerk Reyes.
Good evening, councilors. I'm here to get the approval for the schedule for early voting between August 27th and September 2nd for the state primaries in September, and also for the November elections also, which they are, bear with me, October 22nd through November 4th, 2022.
Is that the extent of the information, Mr. Reyes?
Yes, basically this, with the new election advisory, the state is requiring us to have weekends and regular scheduled business days during the week.
Thank you. Mr. Reyes, would you be so kind? I think many of us have received postcards from the Secretary of State's office regarding early voting. I've already received one phone call with a little bit of confusion saying, I want to vote, I don't want to vote early, I don't want to vote, I want to go to my vote, and it's telling me that I can't. So right now there's some confusion. Can you just tell me so I can tell my constituent, can they vote? Do they have to do anything with these postcards that came in? What are the rules right now?
Absolutely, every voter has a choice. The state just sent out a couple of days ago postcards regarding early voting by mail. That's something that was approved by the state, so it's something that we're going to be having for every election now, even local elections. So any voter has a choice to have the early voting by mail, or they could still go to the polls on election day, and it's their choice to vote in person. So they have multiple choices. We're also going to have early voting here in the city council chambers too, a week before the elections.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing
To
none.
approve?
sorry.
Motion to approve?
Motion's-
And waive the 30-day.
The motion has already been made. The
And
amendment is,
waive
the
the
amendment is
30-day
now to
notice.
waive the 30 days as part of the motion. Hearing no other comments, clerk, please read the roll.
Councilor Infante. Councilor Selena Reyes. Councilor De Rosario is absent. Councilor Rodriguez. Absent. Councilor Vice President is absent. Councilor Payano is absent. Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. Counselor, document number 22022, committee report, please.
Item 22022 is to request to approve polling location for 9/6/22 and 11/8/22 state election by Richard Rodriguez, Election Division Assistant City Clerk.
The motion has been made Is there a second? Seconded by Counselor Infante. Discussion? Mr. Reyes?
Regarding the change of polling locations, we're gonna have 2 sub-precincts added for this election. So instead of 24, we have 26. Over at E1A and one over at A2A. My recommendation is to also change E1 over to the Frost School. Having 2 polling locations at 71 Duckett Ave is too small to hold 2 precincts at a time.
Thank you. Any questions? Counselor Infante.
Clerk, can you just provide a quick summary, a short summary of the discussion? Any information that you think that we should know with your discussions with Lawrence Public Schools? Like, how do they feel about it? Just
I
how
had a
that
meet-
relationship is
Yes,
going.
I had a meeting with the school department, and they're willing to help us. They all said it was okay if we change this polling location to the Frost. We're also going to have their assistants also the weekend, that Saturday before the elections, to go into the schools and set up, being Monday a holiday. So they're going to let me go in on the schools with 2 custodians to assist me to set up the locations.
Thank you.
Mr. President.
Counselor Levy?
Yes, the setup is going to be on Saturday before the election. So they are going to be, they're going to start at the East Cairo, I'm sorry,
South Lawrence East School.
Lawrence East School.
Yes.
Yes.
South
So they're
Lawrence
going to
East.
start there at 7 o'clock. So anyone also want to go and help, because he need a lot of help. So, very welcome. Motion to approve and waive the 30-day notice.
The motion has already been made and has already been properly seconded. Any further discussion on the matter? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Payano is absent. Counselor Vice President is absent. Counselor Rodriguez. Absent. Counselor Del Rosario is absent. Counselor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. The next document is document number 22322. Counselor Levy?
Coaching Field in South Lawrence. This is going to be on August the 27th from 12 to 6 by Jocelyn Morum from the ADEP group. It was sent to the full council with favor recommendation.
The motion has been made. Is there a second? Seconded by Counselor Selena Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none? All in favor, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario is absent. Counselor Rodriguez, absent. Counselor Vice President is absent. Counselor Payano is absent. Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Congratulations. The next document is document number, did you want to take something out of order, Counselor De La Cruz? Is there a motion to take document number 11422, appointments of Marlene Ferreira, out of order?
Second.
Motion has been made by Counselor Infante, seconded by
Second.
Counselor De La Cruz. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Payano is absent. Counselor Vice President is absent. Counselor Rodriguez is absent. Counselor Del Rosario is absent. Counselor Selena Reyes. Counselor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. Is there a committee report, Council Vice Chair?
There is. The Personnel Committee met on Monday, July 11th. Item 11422, appointment of Marlene Ferrer to the position of voting member for the Lawrence Planning Board by Mayor Brian DePena and also Dan McCarthy, Land Use Planner. The committee is voting to send this up to the full council in favor, and I just want to add that Marlene and Mr. McCarthy did take an extra step, and they contacted the Ethics Commission. There were some concerns that the Personnel Committee had in regards to that. They provided that vote for us, and the Ethics Commission came back and said there was no conflict of interest by appointing her. So I would like to make a motion in favor of accepting this appointment.
The motion
Second.
has been made by the Vice Chair Infante, seconded by Councilor Levy. Discussion? Do you wish to address the council at this
Yes.
point?
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for meeting with me today. I just want to basically state that I've been a resident for over 34 years. I've grew up here, and I just want to be more involved in my community as much as I can. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other comments, questions?
I would like to say thank you for volunteering. We need a lot of you in this city. Welcome to the group.
Thank you.
I just have one question.
Absolutely.
One of the hottest issues facing our city is housing. That's an issue that's going to be coming before you. Can you give us or me your view on whether or not we need more housing, and if so, where and how?
So like I stated the last time I was here, I think that we do need more housing, but I know we have issues with parking. So my belief is to get more affordable housings, because at the moment, I feel like there's an apartment with 15 people living there. So I do believe there should be more affordable housing in areas that are not so highly populated, to be quite honest with you. So we won't have any parking issues, but everything is going to be difficult because everything is populated right now. So we need to address that first.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions on this matter? There may be, I would recommend making a motion to table on this matter, because I have questions regarding it, and I don't want to sink this because we only have 5 votes here. I would encourage a vote at this point to table, to come up. My reservations still deal with, not with the conflict, but an appearance and city employees. So that's my concern. So if there's a motion to table, that would be gladly accepted, and that way we can move on to another vote at the following meeting on that. Is there a motion to table? Am I making sense at all? This may not pass if it goes through.
Motion to table.
Motion is made by Councilor Infante. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Reyes. There's no discussion on a motion to table. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Infante?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Del Rosario is absent. Councilor Rodriguez? Absent. Vice President is absent. Councilor Payano is absent. Councilor De La Cruz?
Is this a motion to table? Yes.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor, President LaPlante?
Yes, the motion to table carries. I'm saying that just so you understand, if I had some reservations, and if I voted tonight the way that I want to vote on it, it would go down. So there's not enough city councilors here, and everybody, you should have a full council here to be able to have that vote, and I didn't want to sink it. So we're going to table it right now until we have more people to show up.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a nice evening.
Thanks so much.
224.
Back, yep, 224, Councilor.
Item 22422, this is the body and brain yoga Tai Chi at the Campanon Common on Saturday, July 23rd, July 30, August 6, 8:13, 8:20, 8:27 by Barbara Maffeo. Okay.
Yes.
Did you want?
I am Barbara Maffeo. I am the owner of the...
One second, ma'am, excuse me. There is a motion to committee
No
reports.
motion, it was sent to the full council with favor recommendation.
Motion to approve has been made. It's been seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none to be... we're ready to vote, ma'am.
The only thing I'm going to add is that I did go see Nielsen yesterday, that I want to add some dates for September, and she said to just tell you that, yes, it's fine. So,
I would recommend that you redo that. It would be a lot easier to do it that way, because right now, that's good.
It's up to August 27 right now. It's up to August the 27th.
right. And then I felt like the weather would be good enough, we could stay through September, but if you want me to do another application, is that what you're saying?
Well, the thing is, we don't have anything in writing right now. I understand that you talked to her, and we prefer, just in case there's misunderstandings, that provides the council and yourself a little bit of protection, if you can understand that, it be advisable. You do have some time, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. So that would be my recommendation, to go ahead and do that. That way, everything is, some other people are going to say, well, you cut the edges there. It just helps us all out if we stay consistent. So, and you do have time. So motion has been properly made, it's been properly seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Payano is absent. Vice President is absent. Councilor Rodriguez. Absent. Councilor Del Rosario. Absent. Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. The next document is document number 22522.
Document 22522, that is a Flavor and Fusion Fest. It's going to be the Campanum Common on 9/16, 9/18. It's going to start on the 9/17. It's going to start at 11 a.m. and it's going to be up to 10 p.m. So also, he asked for the Sunday just to make sure that the party is going to be clean and everything is going to be taken care of. It was sent to the full council with favor recommendation.
Motion's been made and seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes. Yes. Councilor De Rosario is absent. Councilor Rodriguez is absent. Vice President is absent. Councilor Payano is absent. Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Document 22922.
Document 22922 is a resolution naming of the library at the new Francis M. Leahy School in recognition of Patricia Mariano by Councilor De La Cruz. It was sent to the full council with favor recommendation.
Motion's been made
Second the motion.
and seconded by Councilor De La Cruz. Councilor, a question for you. Would you want here for final vote, or
Yes, I would like to.
so
Can we table tonight?
would you wish to make a motion to table?
Motion to table.
By Councilor Selena Reyes. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes. Yes. Councilor De Rosario is absent. Councilor Rodriguez is absent. Councilor Vice President is absent. Councilor Payano is absent. Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion is tabled. The next document is document number 23022, a resolution. Councilor Levy.
Item 23022, resolution naming of Park Plazolé de la Libertad de Juan Pablo Duarte. That was made by Councilor del Rosario and Councilor Payano, and it was sent to the full council as a favor recommendation. So,
The motion has been made. Is there a second? And properly seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. I'm just making the point that it was amended at the committee level. And it's
I
back
was
up.
sent to the committee, and also they were supposed to bring some information that was not available on that day at the committee. So I would like to make a motion to table.
There is a motion to table. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Infante. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Payano is absent. Councilor Vice President is absent. Councilor Rodriguez is absent. Councilor De Rosario is absent. Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion is tabled. The next document is document number 23222. Ms. Levy.
Document 23222, Program Director Position Ordinance by Mike Armano, Director of Inspectional Service, was sent to the full council with favor recommendation, and I said I do it as a formal motion.
So there's a motion to order a public hearing, and it also went before the personnel. We're going to merge both of those, so it's the same item. So that is to order a public hearing. So motion to order a
Motion
public,
to order a public hearing?
motion to order a public hearing, seconded by Councilor Infante. Discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy,
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Councilor Payano is absent, Council Vice President is absent, Councilor Rodriguez is absent, Councilor De Rosario is absent, Councilor Selena Reyes,
Yes.
Councilor Infante,
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. The next document is document number 234.
Document 23422, First Responding Appreciation Day, September 13, 2002. And every September there, on the 13th thereafter, by Mr. Melly, and it was all in a public hearing. It was sent to the full council with favor recommendation.
Second the motion.
I'm unclear as to the motion. Is it just a motion to adopt the resolution?
Yes.
Okay, not a public hearing, but just to adopt the resolution. Okay. Motion's been made and properly second. Discussion?
Yes, I would like to call Mr.
Levy.
Mali. So to explain a little bit more, because it was a fusion, before it was a recognition only to the police department. Now it's going to be a recognition for both the fire department and also every first responder on that day.
Good evening, honorable members.
Mr. Mali, welcome.
Yes, Humayun
Wish to
Mali,
speak on this
53
matter?
Chester Street.
Go ahead.
Because of the September 13 is a day that every Laurentian remember because of disaster and fire explosion. And we see the performance by our first responder, especially our police department and the firefighter. The resolution in the beginning was only to declare a resolution to September 13, the day of the appreciation for the police. But after we changed and amend this resolution to be a resolution in order to acknowledge the hard work and sacrifices of the first responder, which is police and then firefighters. So this is a very historical event, for our city to remember, to our citizens can appreciate this first responder for the sacrifices for that day, very important day, and is creating example for other community so they appreciate their first responder. So this amendment, signifies our appreciation of our citizen to our first responder, from firefighters to our police department, for everything they have done on that day and every day of the year.
Appreciation Day. Any other discussion? Councilor De La Cruz?
Thank
Thank you.
in helping us to remember what happened on September 13 on 2011, I think it was.
2018.
2018.
2018, yes. Thank you very much for taking that lead, because sometimes we tend to forget.
Yes.
We tend to forget those people who are there for us, who they don't. I remember seeing so many of us city councilors not going home or not eating or not drinking, but the community per se and the first responder, the Red Cross, the police department, the fire department, I think they did an amazing job, and all the respect for them.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your
Quite welcome.
reminding us to do this.
Quite welcome. Thank you.
Mr. President, there is a,
Councilor Levy?
okay, there is a mistake that needs to be corrected. It says September 13, 2002.
First Responders Appreciation Day, September 13, 2022. I think,
No, say 2002.
I believe that that's accurate. If I'm reading you're talking about the title, First Responders Appreciation
Fair
Day.
Responding Appreciation Day, September 13, 2002.
Oh, are you talking about on the agenda?
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Madam, thank you, Ms. Levy. So that, yes, that should be corrected, and thank you for catching it. Eagle Eye Levy, good job, thank you.
And also for the resolution, so to not make any mistake, please.
The resolution is accurate, though?
The resolution is 22,
22.
yeah, yeah.
Sure.
2018. So that is the day that we are going to remember, and you want to start this September. Yes.
Yep, I think the resolution reflects that. So the motion has been made, it's been properly seconded. Mr. Malley, the chair, thanks you for doing this. This is part of my district. I'm almost embarrassed that I didn't think of it, so good for you. Thank you for thinking of us, and I appreciate it, and I'm sure the first responders do as well, and I think that's a great initiative, so thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Mr. Malley.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Payano is absent. Councilor Vice President is absent. Councilor Rodriguez is absent. Councilor Del Rosario is absent. Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the resolution is adopted. Thank you. Back to personnel. Madam Vice Chair Infante, document number 15022.
Document 15022, hiring of a new city attorney by President LaPlante, is being sent up to the full council as a committee report. According to our personnel director, Lagrada, we only had 4 applicants for this position, and out of the 4, 2 qualified. There is a specific language and an ordinance, and out of the 4, only 2 fulfill that requirement. So I'm making a motion to send up those 2 applicants to the full council as a committee report.
There's a motion to send the two candidates as finalists for the committee as a committee report. The motion is there, and it's been seconded, right, by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion on the committee report? Committee report?
Yeah, I have a question, Mr.
Sure, Councilor Dela Cruz.
I understand that we had 2 people now, but what about if we interview those 2 people and we are not satisfied?
Did you want to take that, Councilor Infante? Councilor Infante,
President.
go ahead.
I have an answer to that. We also asked Director Lagreda that same question during our meeting, and she said that we can certainly keep the application open if the interviews, if we require further applicants or further interviews. That's definitely would be something that the city can do.
So I think the answer is we can bring them into the next meeting, right?
Yes.
They are finalists. We have finalists now. Their names can be public. Before you're a finalist, you can't, but now that's there. So there's a motion right now, and I think what's going to be followed up is maybe to invite the 2 candidates to the next meeting.
Correct.
And we'll have an opportunity to have a discussion and interview here in an open setting, I presume, right?
Yep, correct.
And I'll double check with that. Those are going to be in open setting, the interviews before the council?
I believe for the full council, yes, but we can double check that.
Yeah, let's do that, but that's okay. We'll figure that out later. So committee report, all in favor, say, I'm sorry. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor De Rosario is absent. Councilor Rodriguez is absent. Council Vice President is absent. Councilor Payano is absent. Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. Councilor Infante, what is your motion now?
So,
Did you want to instruct staff to contact the two finalists to invite them to the next city council meeting?
I would like to send correspondence to the personnel department to contact the 2 finalists for them to be present for the next meeting, and also to clarify whether or not this will be public or in private.
Next meeting will be scheduled for August the 2nd. So there was a motion made, as you heard, for correspondence, the finalists to the next meeting. And then, can we make two, let's just make it clean. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Payano is absent. Councilor Vice President is absent. Councilor Rodriguez is absent. Councilor De Rosario is absent. Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. Is there a motion to table?
Motion to table?
Motion to table has been made by Councilor Infante. Is there a seconded by Councilor Reyes? No discussion. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor De Rosario is absent. Councilor Rodriguez is absent. Councilor Vice President is absent. Councilor Payano is absent. Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. The motion to table is adopted. Madam Vice Chair, document number 227.
22722, request to post, advertise, and fill position of Director of the Office of Planning and Development by Director Lagretta, is being sent up to the full council with a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a motion.
Motion made by the Vice Chair Infante, seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion. Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Before I answer, this is to fill the position?
This is a request to post and
To
advertise.
post?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilor Payano is absent. Councilor Vice President is absent. Councilor Rodriguez is absent. Councilor De Rosario is absent. Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, and just so I'm clear, councilors, this also has the position title and the duties, the supervision, job environment, all the things that you would see in a job classification. That's part of this as well. Okay. The next document we've already voted on, but Counselor, I still think we should have a committee report because it was not unanimous out of your committee. Out of fairness to the council, we need to make sure that that is recorded. So we've already voted on this for a public hearing, but for our purposes, Vice Chair, would you please give the committee report for Personnel Committee report on document number 23222, the Program Director's Position Ordinance.
Yep. So document 33222, Program Director Position Ordinance. So the Personnel Committee overall passed it in favor, but we did have a member that voted no, and the reason for this is because in the job description, there is language that says, under the general direction of the mayor. And there was discussion about, it's assumed that every position in City Hall or that has a tie to the mayor's office is under the mayoral supervision. There was discussions about confusion and a mayor could act as if they are the direct supervisor, and that's why that committee member voted no. But ultimately, overall, the vote was 2-1 in favor sending this to the full council.
So a motion for a committee report we've already adopted. Is there a second for a committee report? Seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Any discussion on the committee report? We've already adopted this. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario is absent. Councilor Rodriguez is absent. Councilor Vice President is absent. Councilor Payano is absent. Councilor De La Cruz.
Councilor De La Cruz, the committee report. We already voted for it. Thank you.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Chair votes yes. The public hearing is still taking place on this August the 2nd. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Yes, do you wish to have the floor? Okay. Are there any tabled matters that anybody wishes to take it off the table this evening?
Council President.
Infante, excuse me, Counselor Infante.
I would like to make a motion to untable item 18918, AM Auto Body, Inc., 341 South Broadway, zoning amendment.
Motion to take off document number 18918. It's been made and properly seconded. Discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy.
Page 1 of the tabled matters.
It's the third one from the bottom of the list.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Take it off the table.
Yes.
Counselor Payano is absent. Counselor Vice President is absent. Counselor Rodriguez is absent. Counselor De Rosario is absent. Counselor Selena Reyes. Yes. Counselor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. Counselor?
I just want to say thank you to the resident that spoke earlier and provided us additional information about this issue. According to the documents that we received today, there was this was taken to the Lawrence Superior Court in 2018, and the decision made was that the judge made a decision to permanently, where is it? Actually, I'm just going to read this to make it easier. Lot number 18 has a permanent land injunction ordered, adjudged and declared by the Honor Judge T. Liu of the Lawrence Superior Court, permanently adjoining A&M Auto Body from making any use of map 97, lot number 18 at 341 South Broadway in Lawrence, and that is impermissible under R2 designation. Further ordered, adjudged, and declared that the November 7, 2018 Lawrence City Council vote that allowed the position of A&M Auto Body, Inc. shall be hereby to be vacated and invalid. So basically, if we were to allow this, we would be considered contempt of court. So with that being said, I would like to make a motion to withdraw this item from the agenda.
There is a motion to withdraw. Is there a second? Hearing none, the motion dies. Is there a motion to place back onto table? Motion made by Counselor Reyes, Selena Reyes. Is there a second? Hearing none, the motion dies. Counselor Infante.
So I just want to make this clear. I'm assuming there's a reason why it's been tabled for so long. And because there is already a court-ordered decision, any decision made that's not like in conjunction with what the Lawrence Superior Court made, I mean, the city can be sued, the city council can be sued, which is the reason why I attempted to withdraw this. And we have all the documentations here that supports that, and I just want to make that clear to my colleagues.
Thank you, Counselor. Something to consider, counselors, if we're going to wade into this at all, and there's only 5 of us here, so it's a very difficult time to get anything passed. A couple of recommendations. My recommendations for you to consider is to table it. The second recommendation I would have is to invite the city attorney to come. If we really want to deal with this issue, hear from the city attorney, and then we could be more, I dealt with this like 4 years ago. I don't remember all the details. So I need to be refreshed. So that would be my recommendation. Counselor Infante.
So I make a motion to table item 189-18 and also send correspondence to a city attorney in the office to come to the council and refresh our memory on this item.
Second.
Motion has been made by Counselor Infante, seconded by Counselor Levy. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes. Yes. Counselor De Rosario is absent. Counselor Rodriguez is absent. Counselor Vice President is absent. Counselor Payano is absent. Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, The motion is tabled. Any other tabled matters? Councilors, I would ask for document 20622 to be taken off the table, please. Motion made by Councilor Reyes. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Infante. Discussion? Take it off the table. Clerk, please call the roll.
Council President?
Yes, I'm sorry.
What was the item number again?
20622, home rule petition to provide relief to police officer Carl Farrington. It's the last tabled matter. Are we set to vote to take it off the table? Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes. Yes. Councilor De Rosario is absent. Councilor Rodriguez is absent. Council Vice President is absent. Councilor Payano is absent. Councilor De La Cruz. Yes. Councilor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, thank you. Councilors, 20622, at the last meeting, we asked, or I asked, it would make me feel better to get the city attorney's writing on that. I did get that documentation. The city attorney did give it a review and put it in a proper form. This is to provide relief for Officer Farrington, who was injured in the line of duty. This is a home rule petition. How many votes we need for home rule petition? I think it's just 5 for home rule petition. So we're looking to get this up to the state legislature. I've already talked to Representative Moran, who's eager and willing to go ahead and take this to the State House. But this is, again, a home rule petition to provide relief. It has to be done by the state and not by us. And so if we're comfortable this evening with the vote on that, I would ask for it. If not, we can table it again. So I'm looking for a motion either to table or to adopt or pass.
Motion to adopt.
A motion by Councilor Levy to send it to the to approve, and seconded by Councilor De La Cruz. Discussion? Hearing none. Clerk, please call the roll. Oh, was it?
My motion was.
My apologies. So the motion was to table. Motion to table. Who made the? Was you?
We have to send it to.
This will be sent to the mayor and then to the legislature. If we pass it here, it goes to the mayor. The mayor sends it to the State House.
Okay, motion to approve.
Second the motion.
Okay, that motion remains. And I'm sorry I didn't hear you correctly. So there you go. So clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Payano is absent. Councilor Estela Reyes is absent. Councilor Rodriguez is absent. Councilor De La Rosario is absent. Councilor Selena Reyes. Yes. Councilor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion to send up to the mayor is approved. Thank you, councilors. I'm sure Mr. Farrington will be pleased to hear the news. Officer Farrington, excuse me. Under anything else under old business or table matters? Okay, new business. 23922 GL Greater Lawrence Family Health Center Syringe Service Program Community Response Plan. That's going to the Public Safety Committee. Document 24022 Handicap Parking at 64 Buswell Street is going to the Ordinance Committee. 24122 Handicap Parking at to delete it at 303-305 Irving Ave is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 24222 Old Gold License, Brothers Jewelry Incorporated, that is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 24322 Secondhand Dealer's License, Easy Price Appliance, is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 24422 No Parking Sign at 134-136 Boxford Street, is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 24522 Handicap Parking at 24 Belmont Street, is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 24622, a 5K walk Manchester Street Park on August 14th, is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 24722, a traffic study review on Basswood Street put on by Councilor Selena Reyes, is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 24822, National Grid and Verizon Andover Street, is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 24922, National Grid and Verizon Auburn Street, is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 25022, Fiesta Show Carnival in the Campagnon Common on August 5th through 7th is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 25222, a traffic study at Mount Vernon Street by Councilor Infante. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 25322, traffic study Hamlet Street surrounding school zone streets by Councilor Infante. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. Document 25422, no parking at any time from 5 Front Street to where Front Street connects with South Broadway, put on by Councilor Infante, is before the Ordinance Committee. Document 25522, a disclosure by municipal employee Adelie Gonzalez. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. Council, I just wanted to let you know.
Okay.
I just wanted to let you know that we received a request to declare as an emergency a handicap parking. However, to declare an emergency, we need 6 votes. We do not have 6 votes this evening, so I'm not even entertaining this because we can't get the 6 votes, right? So that's laid aside for, looking for handicap parking. Do we have committee meetings? I'm going to go with personnel first. I think you got a Monday meeting, right?
We do have a meeting on Monday, July 25th, to continue conducting interviews for the city clerk position. We're going to leave it as is. I'm sorry, 6:30, at 6:30 p.m.
6:30 personnel, Monday. Budget and finance. Who's my? Budget and finance. I do think we've got budget and finance. We do, don't we? Do we have a budget?
So usually we are doing the budget and finance on Wednesday now.
I'm not seeing any budget and finance stuff.
No, just
We
only
do?
one item.
We have something? What do we have? Oh, the audit. Sorry, my bad. The audit, yes. So when, typically they meet on
We are
Wednesday?
doing on Wednesday at
Okay.
6:30.
Okay. So the 27th at 6:30, budget and finance. Ordinance Committee.
26 at 7.
Okay. 26 at 7 o'clock, Ordinance Committee. And Public Safety? You have at least one item, right?
Yes, I'm just trying to think, when do we usually meet? No. Okay, we'll do Wednesday, Wednesday, July 27 at 6:30.
They have a 6:30.
Okay, let's do, is there anything scheduled for Thursday, the 28th?
There's nothing scheduled for Thursday.
Okay, so we'll do Thursday, the 28th at 6:30.
Thursday, the 28th, at 6:30, about public safety. Housing? Nothing for housing, okay. If there's no other business before the council, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
That was too fast. Councilor Infante, Councilor Levy with the second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Payan is absent. Councilor Estela Reyes is absent. Councilor Rodriguez is absent. Councilor De Rosario is absent. Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, we are adjourned. Thank you, ladies. It is all.